Welcome to the Speakeasy. I'm your barkeeper, Jeff Belanger. This is the place where we can all drink alone. Together. There's never a cover charge, and we don't card anyone. So this time of quarantine has us missing all kinds of things. Simple things like going to a movie or a concert or a play or a sporting event. And if you're a sports addict, then you're really struggling because you can't even watch your favorite sports on TV because nobody's playing right now. So we find ourselves looking through YouTube for our favorite games to get any sort of fix that we can get. And right now we're forced to relive the glory days of our favorite teams and athletes because we don't have any other choices. But it's okay, right? I mean, it'll make us appreciate competitive sports all the more once they're back on. So tonight, I'm reaching out to an old college buddy who, that's why I'm carrying a bat, by the way, because I've always wanted to hit him with a bat. So we used to write for the school newspaper together back at Hofstra University, and then I roped him into writing for the campus humor magazine, which is a topic I'm sure someone with, his resume would want to avoid tonight at all costs. I understand and respect that. So here to talk about his brand-spankin-new, just came out a few days ago book. It's called The Subway Series, Baseball's Big Apple Battles, and the Yankees-Mets 2000 World Series Classic. Please welcome my old buddy, Jerry Beach.
Hey, Jeffy.
Well, hello, Mr. Beach.
How you doing, man? I didn't realize there were weapons allowed.
Yeah, you should be safe-ish.
Take a swing.
Yeah, this might be my last episode because I can't afford any more equipment if I break this stuff up.
If you bloody the bat up.
I know. So, how are you? How's your fantasy baseball team doing?
Not good this year. Well, I'm tied for first place.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. I'm also tied for last place.
It's probably like a whole tie across the board. So listen, folks, if you're watching live either on YouTube or Facebook, please share it. Tell your friends. They can jump in and join us. We'll post your comments, if you don't swear or do anything, or like even if you say like something like just hi, Jeff. Oh, thanks,
Whoa.
Kathy. Hello to you too. You can ask questions, whatever. We'll try to get to you. Jerry, what are you drinking with me tonight?
I should be drinking heavier stuff than this after a day of homeschooling, but yes. I just got water. Poland Spring. This is a very Wayne's World moment. Hey, Larry, what's up, buddy? Larry's my coworker.
Larry, hello, Larry. So, being a sports writer, I admit I tend to watch football, and one team in particular. I'm drinking a Narragansett lager because, hey, neighbor, grab a Gansett. Anyway, sports writing right now is probably doing not as well as sports, which isn't doing well.
Another reason I should be drinking right now.
Yeah. And then there's the whole lack of income thing. But when this all went down, it's amazing how fast we all became experts on the economy, right?
Right.
You're just like, oh, wait, no sports, nothing to write about.
Right, yeah.
No one's going to want to hear what I have to say.
It's kind of, funny is not the right word, obviously, but
hysterical.
Hysterical. That's the word. Fall down funny. The Tuesday, March 10th was the day Hofstra, our alma mater.
We went there.
We were there, won its conference basketball tournament to advance to the NCAA tournament, we thought, for the first time in 19 years. And I'd been down there doing some work for a broadcaster that did covered Hofstra's league all year. And the guy said, hey, I'd love to have you, preview the tournament game or games if they win their first one. And, after that, we have spring sports and, a ton of stuff for you to do. Awesome. Yeah. 2 days later. So yeah, it's just, like you said, if there's no sports, what do you write about?
Yeah,
so I know. It came to a halt in a hurry, man. 48 hours later.
So here's the good news. So we're friends on Facebook, obviously. And you just announced your brand new book, which is really awesome. Congratulations. I know what it takes to put these babies out. It's a lot of work. And look there it is. It's a nice cover and stuff. Look, you got Jeter up there and
Piazza, more handsome than me.
Yeah, no, look at that. Like that's a real cover. I mean, like those photos weren't free. Like you gotta pay for those.
I tried to sketch those guys.
Yeah.
They wanted photos.
So there it is. And I was like, okay, the Subway Series. So try to explain for someone like me, who's not a huge baseball fan, but has a baseball bat, like what's the significance of a Subway Series? Now, I know enough to know that there were like the Brooklyn Dodgers, there's the New York Yankees. Now, of course, there's the Mets. So there's been baseball teams in and around New York City before electricity, right?
Yeah, yes. Hundreds of years.
So what's the significance of a Subway Series?
But back in the day, before expansion, there was only American League and National League, and 8 teams in each league. And the Yankees were great, and usually the Brooklyn Dodgers or New York Giants were pretty good on the other side, in the National League. So regularly, the Yankees would meet either the Dodgers or the Giants in the World Series. Hey, hi, Megan. How are you?
You don't have to respond to everyone. Just keep talking.
Hi, Megan. So it was a big deal in the 40s, 50s, and 30s, 40s, 50s for these 2 teams, 2 of the 3 teams, to meet in the World Series. Then the Dodgers and Giants established baseball's Western expansion and went there and went out west, and that opened up the floodgates for expansion, which eventually opened up the floodgates to divide the leagues into divisions and expand the playoffs. So suddenly you went from all you needed was a New York team to be one of the best of the 8 teams in its league to advance to the World Series. To then you need that team to be the best in its division and then beat the other division winner and then get to the World Series. And then by the time we got to college, they expanded the playoffs to 3 rounds, add the wild card. So then you had to win 2 rounds just to get to the World Series. So it went from something that was fairly common with a small number of teams to by the time the Yankees and Mets played in 2000, there were 30 teams of baseball, 6 divisions, 3 apiece, and 8 playoff teams. Right. So it was a lot more hurdles to climb and to surmount. And so not only was it rare for New York, it's never happened for Chicago. The White Sox and Cubs have never played in the World Series. Los Angeles, Angels, Dodgers never played a World Series. We did have a Royals-Cardinals World Series in '85. So you need a lot to go right. You need a little bit of good karma, good kismet, whatever you want to call it, and for it to happen. And it's only happened once since 1956, and 2000 was it.
Yeah. Well, Tigers fans. Hello, Suzette. I believe from Michigan. So, yeah, who's your favorite team out there? Just shout it out. Go ahead. I admit it. So I'm, again, I don't really watch baseball, but when the Red Sox are in the World Series and we get around game 5 or 6, that's when I jump in, Jerry. That's when I'm all invested in baseball.
You're like Homer, right? In The Simpsons. Yeah, isotopes. Woo!
Yeah, isotopes rule. Yeah, so once we're around game 5. I'm not watching game 1, not watching game 2, not watching game 3 because nothing's on the line yet. I mean, you can phone the first 3 in and you can still be in it.
Hey,
right? That's
what the Red Sox did, right? In 04?
Right.
Down 03, all right, it's time to get going. Let's go.
So Suzette's drinking 2 art by Bell's, if I remember correctly, from my time in Michigan drinking your beer. Well done. So yeah, no, it's one of those things that I get the drama of it. And let's talk about sports in general.
Sure.
I'm so curious because they're talking about
talk about sports.
What?
This is all we can do is talk about sports. We can't watch it.
Well, we can talk about ghosts and the paranormal, but I don't think you're like one of the world-renowned experts.
I'm not. Oh, I'm not definitely. Oh,
I know. And you could name out baseball players and stats, and I'd be like, like so. But what I do know is that what affects everybody is that a lot of people gathering in one place is something that we all like to do, whether it's for baseball or hockey or football or soccer or concerts or plays or any number of things. And when I heard that they're talking about like opening sports, did you see? Was it in South Korea or something? That they're playing baseball games in stadiums, but no fans.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, oh man. So this is where like the armchair psychologist in me is like, what would it be like, Jerry Beach, watching a professional baseball game with no fans? Home team, that doesn't matter, right? Home field, I mean, matters only slightly that you know the turf a little better. But I was thinking about like, how many times has a manager pulled a pitcher because the crowd's booing?
Right.
And the crowd's like restless. And the manager's like, oh, God, they're going to eat me alive if I don't pull this pitcher pretty soon. Even though the manager might want to be like, I just think another couple of pitches and they might turn. Right. So decisions are going to get made differently. Don't you think?
It's funny you say that about the pitcher and the manager, because the last time the Mets made the World Series was 2015. Hey, Gary. Sorry, I know you don't say it to everybody, but they're all my friends.
You're a pro, man. You're like,
and 3 are on here, counting you. So
why is like all the late night shows not all over you? Because you'd be like, oh, shiny thing.
And my other friends in the other room, my wife. So in 2015, the Mets made the World Series, and they were in Game 5, and they were winning 2 or 3-0. I think it was 3-0. And their pitcher throwing like 110 pitches, which is a lot nowadays, and the crowd was going bananas. They bring, they wanted to see Matt Harvey, Connecticut guy like us, come out for the 9th inning. And Terry Collins, the manager, wanted to go to his bullpen and his closer, and he got talked out of it by the fans and the crowd. And he went out there and gave up the lead, and the Mets lost the World Series. That was the 5th and final game. They were down 3-1. So it's just fascinating. It goes both ways. It goes both ways to, managers like, I got to get this guy out of there. He's getting hammered. I can't take him out, or I'll need an escort to get out of here tonight. So to answer your question about like if they play baseball this year in front of no crowds, it's there's so many variables we're used to that we're not going to have. Yeah. And I think to some degree, guys, the managers these days aren't as guided by emotion and fans. It's a very by the book game now. The GM kind of script the game plan. They'll say, look at Belanger tires after 95 pitches. If you're at 93 at the end of the 6th, you're done. Right. Whether you have a 2-hit shutout or whatever. But it'll certainly take away from some of the electricity if they do that. But what's better, no games or games with no fans?
So this comes down to like, what is sports selling, Jerry? Like, I would submit to you, they are selling drama and excitement.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's about selling tickets. The NFL, why did the NFL change so many rules to protect quarterbacks? Because they wanted lots and lots of touchdowns. Yep. Right? Yep. They want long passes, exciting plays, and high scores. That gets people excited. That gets people passionate. So when it comes down to it, the sports will always answer to the fans. Yep. Right? And think of the players too, right? The players get booed or I mean, dude, we've all seen it. I mean, I haven't gone anywhere near as many baseball games as you have, but I've watched some fan in the stands, like 5 beers in, just get into the head of one of the players, right? You've seen it. Where you're like, you're overpaid, number 23. You're overpaid, right? And like suddenly he turns around and like you won. Like the guy in the stands just won. The player on the field just lost. Like I'm in your head.
Yep. Yeah. And if baseball comes back this year, if football comes back this year, pretty much if any sports come back this year, they're probably going to be played in empty stadiums because, I think, like I said, what we're selling drama, we're selling excitement, but we're selling, something resembling normalcy. And I think whenever this ends, whenever it ends, whatever normal we have going forward will be different than the one we had March 9th and 10th. But, like last night, I don't know if you saw the Chicago Bulls documentary on ESPN.
Sorry, this is funny. I remember the fans in the bleachers yelling, "Hey, you even stuck in the video game." That's a good one. Oh God, now I want to go to a professional sporting match just so I can yell that.
I think Larry's talking about a Philadelphia Phillies game in the 90s. I think he'll type in if he's right. I think that's what he's talking about.
That's awesome.
But we miss sports. Like if you're a big football fan, a big Patriot fan, you'll get the draft this weekend. You'll be watching it. You're not. Yeah, the draft is this weekend.
To be fair, I never watched the draft. I just wait for them to play. Like I'm a busy guy, Jerry.
Wait for Belichick to show up and do his magic and turn the guy into a 6-round pick into the best quarterback in history.
Yeah, he's done it before. I have no doubt he'll do it again.
He'll do it again. But like
Tom Brady, who? That's all I gotta say.
Who needs Tom? Here's the funny thing. Not funny, but imagine if the season gets wiped out. Unfortunately, Tom is 43, right?
Yeah,
going to 43 or going to 44. Going to 43.
It occurred to me.
It's possible he may never play it for another team.
And his last play as a Patriot was a pick six. I remember all of it.
But anyway, enough about that. But anyway, the Bulls documentary did great last night. Yeah, it's true. She can. It's true. The Bills doc last night did like incredible, like a 6.1 or something, because people just want to watch sports. Like we're watching, if you're a Patriots fan, you can watch the NFL Network showing the Super Bowls, and I'm a baseball guy, so I'm watching baseball games. But like this was something that wasn't new, but it was a new documentary. So people just like, for 2 hours, like, oh, thank God, we got something to do with sports. So like, if sports were to come back this year without fans, it's better than the alternative, which is no sports, and people will watch. Of course, TV contracts fuel the engines these days. So if you have MLB Network, if you have your local Nesson up in your neck of the woods with Red Sox, people will watch that stuff. Those ratings will go sky high. So
because it's something. I know we need a fix, right? And so, dude, these speakeasies all started because people need a fix. I needed a fix. I was feeling so isolated, and I'm like, I miss going to a bar and having a beer with friends. That I started doing this, and I'm like, well, I'll just have a beer with friends and let other people watch, or water, whatever, right? Like, so. No, it's all good. But that was, and so while I think everyone agrees this is not as good as being in person, chatting one-on-one, it's the next best thing. It's all we can have right now. And that's the lens that we have to look at life now. Like, okay, I can't go to my season ticket seats at the baseball game or the hockey arena or the basketball game or the football game, whatever. But I can watch, even though there's like no fans in the stands. And I wonder, I mean, this is an interesting social experiment because it's never, ever happened in the era of television. Like, will you yell more at the TV to compensate? Right. That could be kind of fun.
I want to hear myself.
Right. So so when there's a big play and you hear the roar, right? So, okay, every one of us who's ever watched any sports ever, right? You go to the kitchen to get something while the game's still on. And all of a sudden the TV goes, and you're like, something happened. Right?
You run back in.
And you go running in and you're like, what happened? What did I miss? And you're not going to know. You're going to have to depend on the play-by-play announcers screaming. But they're not allowed to have a dog in the race. So like it's not the same as like the home crowd just erupted. So obviously something good happened for the home team. I mean, it's a new world, right? So I mean,
so like my friend Gary wrote, sports is the best reality show. Sports is also like DVR proof. Like, you know, you can DVR it, but the whole world's going to tell you what happened. So if your team, if the Patriots are playing at 1 o'clock on Sunday, you better be there at 1 o'clock on Sunday in front of the tube, right? Because if you wait till 7 o'clock and DVR it, you're probably going to know what happened by that. So
that's right. Yeah. I mean, no, it's out there and it's about, So it's a tricky thing. And I mean, I don't know. I'm just so fascinated, like the armchair historian in me and all this other stuff. Like what's this world look like? Like what's going to be our normal for 2020, knowing that this thing isn't going to end on a day. It's not going to end like, okay, June 15th at noon. It's going to be slow and gradual, and it's going to be little things. And then we heard Florida said that the WWE is essential.
Yeah. and then they laid off a bunch of employees anyway.
Well, I mean, hey, everybody's getting laid off because now we understand how interconnected everything is. And you can say, I saw someone made a comment earlier, I didn't put it up, but about like, oh, the sports are a bunch of overpaid clowns or whatever. That's fine. You're totally allowed to have that opinion, no problem. But what about like the guy that sells beer that doesn't even care about the game, but like that's his income for the summer? Or the person that sells popcorn, or the person that cleans the stands, the people that cut the lawn that may not give two bits about baseball, but they really care about their job. And suddenly all those folks are out of work.
And it's like someone could say, I was talking to a friend of mine who was saying in jest, actually he said this, he's not a sports fan. Well, you know, when the world comes back, good, screw you, sports, we don't need you. But I do need my Marvel movies. You know? Right. So it's like, all right, you or, you know, person A, you know, typing in may not like sports, but he or she probably likes, you know, concerts or movies. And like, this wasn't just like, you know, all right, sports for whatever reason just got vaporized. It was everything. And the thing about Hollywood movies too, that people forget, and television shows, if I might speak a little closer to home, is that sure, some of those stars make millions of dollars, but there's people that work on those shows and movies that are just working stiffs that make less than you do, whatever it is you make, like the gaffers and the people that just run cables and the people that are the caterers and work for the caterers, like the whole support system, those folks are out of work too. So before you go poo-pooing athletes and movie stars, there's huge interest, like the poor kid that, you know, the teenage kid that sells tickets to the movies at your local movie theater. He ain't working. You know, like that trickles all the way down. You talked about, you know, all the golfers and whatnot. When they talked about trying to reopen baseball, you know, they had this biodome experiment talking about Arizona. We put all the players out in Arizona, and they'll play at the 9 parks or how many parks it is out there, plus the Diamondbacks indoor facility. You know, it's not just 25 players and 5 coaches, managers. You got to keep healthy. It's the TV support staff. It's the catering staff for, like I said, catering. That's what triggered it. Catering for the locker rooms. It's the hotel staffs in Tucson and Tempe or wherever. It's not just 60 guys on a diamond playing ball. It's hundreds of people minimum per game who are providing the support, and then you multiply that out times 15 games a night. Yeah, it goes far beyond Robert Downey Jr. or Mike Trout and all the money they make. Well, the heck with that. Well, no, like you said, it goes down to Joe and Jane Blows making $25K a year, because of the industry.
Have you heard any? Tracy made the comment here about a lot of the athletes giving back to some of the arena workers. Have you heard any good stories? You're at Mets Shea Stadium all the time. Is it still called Shea? Oh my God,
It's across the street.
Okay, so but I mean, like, have you heard any good stories about like?
I know Pete Alonso, the rookie first base, not rookie anymore. He won Rookie of the Year last year. Has done a ton of stuff with the community. I know, like, the NBA was at the forefront of this because it was the NBA that had the "Where were you" one moment when Rudy Gobert of the Jazz got sick before tip off, and they said he's got corona. Holy bleep!
Yeah,
this is real. So a lot of the NBA players, because baseball is still 2 weeks away from getting opened. Hockey's done a lot too, but
thanks, Larry. Yeah. No, I feel bad because, like, growing up in Connecticut, I mean, I've been to Shea Stadium. I'm so out of baseball.
It's a joke because, like, it's not Shea. It's not what it was. It's no corporate name. But the NBA guys have really been, at the forefront. I know a bunch of NHL teams have donated. Every team has been really good about, giving what they can, and most teams have extended game day employees. I guess first was through March, now it's through April, and hopefully next is through May. Recognizing that the GMs and the coaches and the players and the managers, they're going to be all right. They're going to get through this. Yeah. But like you said, the guy working, selling peanuts, selling beer, cleaning out the concession stands, cleaning out the bathrooms. Those are the guys and gals who are really going to take a hit. So
the sports writers,
yes, please go fund me.
Yeah, the ones that are not in the press box, covering this and not making a ton of money, man. I mean,
start with
like, I know, like, it's not. I've got friends that are sports writers up here in the Boston area. Like, that's just one of their 4 jobs, right? Like, it's a hustle, and it's and not only that, like So just a little bit of background. So Jerry and I went to Hofstra together 700 years ago, at least. And you were a sports writer then. You were sports writing for the Chronicle, the school newspaper, and that's where we hung out and knew each other. And I was writing other stuff, and it was one of those things where, like, so I guess with any industry, right, you're only as good as your contacts. And sports especially, like, if someone doesn't want to talk to you, you'll never get the story. So on the one hand, you've got a dream job. If someone's like a Mets fan or whatever, like, you're in the locker room all the time. You know all the players. You got cell numbers that I understand you're going to give out during this show,
absolutely. Right? As part of my GoFundMe.
Yeah, right. Every $100 you get a Mets player's phone number. You won't say which one.
Yeah, you only get one number per $100 though. So you got to donate at least $1,000 to get 10 numbers.
So, like, did we start with the area code? Is it like a 212? Like, is it what's the thing? And also, so you're on Long Island too. I mean, New York is obviously like a huge part of the news right now because it's the epicenter of everything, of the biggest, trouble in America as far as COVID-19. But you're a little bit out on Long Island. What's it like where you are?
We're getting hammered too. I mean, not knocking wood. We're okay. Wife, daughter, and me. But Nassau and Suffolk have gotten really hit. And is it because, so many people on the island commute into the city, and, from your days down here, you go to the city, it's just wall to wall people. And you can imagine probably how quickly the disease spread in subways and trains and even office buildings. So they haven't really, figured out how or why it has spread here, if that's the reason. That's my guess, my amateur guess. But we've gotten hit pretty hard. We've got over 100,000 cases just in Nassau and Suffolk counties. And then, as you know, we border Queens, and it's all contiguous. It's all one Long Island. Nassau, Suffolk are true Long Island, but the Long Island, it's all an island going into Manhattan.
Sure.
So we're getting hit pretty good. We've got I'm sure it's the case up by you now too. We've got all the, we went to pick up some groceries today, saw the Costco, and it's one person in, one person out, and the line around the store. Everyone wearing their masks, and it's freaky. Like it so quickly it's become like, oh, okay, we're all wearing masks. And back in the old days, last week you saw a guy in a mask, you thought he or she was going to rob a bank.
Yeah, right.
He or she's being really safe. So we got hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
The hope is that the curve is flattening.
Yeah.
But there's so much, it's such a delicate balance. I think I read that the rate of infection is down to like 0.9. So a person who has it is now not infecting another person. But difference of 0.9 to 1.5 is, like that. So
how are you keeping your sanity with all this going on? I mean, you've got a young daughter and you're married. What are you doing?
Who said I was keeping my sanity?
Right. Fair enough. No, that's true. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ask a leading question like that.
No, look, we're doing okay. We've got a 7-year-old daughter, and so she's been homeschooled since her last day of school was March 13th.
Yeah.
So it's what, 5 weeks now, I guess. Yeah, 5 weeks. Yeah, I know. How's yours? How's
she's so my daughter's 13 and they're doing Google Classroom. Yeah. And so the funny thing was I was saying how being 13, that's probably like if you had to pick a perfect age for this to happen, like you don't want to go out anyway. You're 13, you stay in your room all day. You just want to talk to your friends on the phone. Right. I feel like if we had to pick one, this would be a good age for it to hit. Like my heart breaks for high school seniors, for college seniors, for anyone that's like really where your social life is so, dude, we're parents. Our social life is blah. Like what's social life? We work and we like do the dishes and do our laundry and like whatever,
Right.
So I don't worry about us.
Yeah. I was talking to a couple friends, and like wondering like which age, which demographic will be least impacted by this going forward. Because like as adults, we're never gonna be like, we'll always be like, the next, virus we hear about. Oh crap, here it comes again.
Yeah.
I have a nephew who's 16. He's a junior in high school. You've got your daughter's 13. My daughter's 7. Like, which of those kids? Which of that age bracket is my daughter young enough so that this isn't really going to impact her? Your daughter's obviously 13. She's going to remember this. Matthew, my nephew, is 16. He'll remember this. Like, which age will emerge from this most unscathed, or least scarred?
Right.
So
I don't know.
It's fascinating to me to think like it's a formative experience for all of us. And for my daughter, who's like I said, who's 7, the first probably where were you when moment, right?
Yeah, I mean it's something you remember. Like I remember epic snowstorms, or I remember a hurricane Gloria, right? Challenger, sure, yeah, but like Gloria was something that like we lost power for a week. We didn't go to school for a week. Like it was, but then like you put the power lines back up, the electricity's on, everybody gets back to it. It's only a week. Yeah,
I was thinking about that too. Like this feels like as seismic a change and as seismic in its own way as 9/11 was. By September 17th, people are going back to work. And it was an awful time. And I'm not minimizing that. But even as awful as that was, by the end of that week, Wall Street was the stock market was back open. Within 3 weeks, the war started. Baseball playoffs were going on during that. Like it'll be 6 weeks on Wednesday since Rudy Gobert got sick for the Jazz.
Yeah, and everything stopped.
Think about 6 weeks after 9/11 is the end of October.
There was we were back to not normal, but a new normal.
Right. And this we're on pause.
So Nicole has a question. Her daughter wants to be a sports journalist. So I think, Jerry, you owe it to Nicole and her daughter to talk her out of it.
No,
don't do it.
Go chase ghosts like my friend Jeff does.
Yeah. I don't want to do that either. That can't be a good idea.
Go to business school. No. It's funny.
So you started when you were 17. I mean, you were writing for your local paper in Connecticcut, right?
Yeah, about a hour north of you. Yeah. And
an hour south. But I mean, they never taught you geography. That's okay. Massachusetts is north of Connecticut, but it's cool.
I just type. I don't know directions.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I have a GPS.
He ran to third base first. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Run around the diamond the other way. It's funny, when I was in college with you, I remember, we graduated class of 96, and I remember.
Wow, just giving our age out.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm sorry. I'm at class of 16.
No, I look young. Look at me.
I don't. I still have most of my hair, but
I need a haircut. You've got it slicked back, dude. This is 2 months without a haircut.
Yeah, same here. Look at the hair. I can't.
No, you still got it.
That's I do. Look how long it is in the back. Same thing.
Yeah, you got the mullet going.
I do. I'm trying to negotiate a goatee with my wife, with Michelle. Can you help me out with this? Can you help me out?
I shave every day, although it doesn't matter. I can't grow one.
I'm leaving. Goodbye. I told her I'll let her cut my hair if I can grow a goatee, and it hasn't worked yet.
Okay. Keep trying.
But as for the question, when we were in college,
you were giving us the path of a sports writer from Torrington, Connecticut, to a book out.
In the middle of a pandemic. And I remember in college, a long time. Thank you, Larry. A long time ago, but not too long ago. Even back then, people were saying this is a lousy industry, and then there were cuts in newspapers and cuts in media, and that was 20 odd years ago. And it's tougher now. I'm not going to, a coach I used to cover said, the best thing I can do is tell you the truth. And so to our viewer, if the younger you are, the better industry it is, because, and you'll know this, it's the pay's not great. And if you can move anywhere you want and don't have to live on a lot of money, it's pretty good. When you're a little bit older and you want to get a nice apartment or get a house, which I don't have, by the way. It's tough. And you talked about your friends in Boston hustling. Before everything kind of hit pause, I had like 4 or 5 gigs. Kind of combining everything and finding a pretty decent living. So I would say, and I'd read this great bit of advice. If you love sports and you love and you want to be a sports writer, make sure you love the writing as much as you love the sports.
Well, that's true of any writer, right? No writer can make it if you don't love the writing, because it sucks.
Right.
I'll speak to that, man. That's a hustle, no matter what you're writing about.
Whether you're talking about writing books and there's days are just not coming, or if you're just going back to if you're just starting your career out at a small town paper or a small town publication, and you're covering like field hockey or some sport you don't like. You gotta enjoy the challenge of writing about something like that, the challenge of turning a 1-0 game into 500 interesting words, things like that. And and eventually, the other fun stuff will happen. Don't worry about that.
So I remember I had a conversation with you. This might have been at Hofstra like a million years ago, when it occurred to me, because like I like to write about all kinds of stuff, right? I write about ghost stories and legends and history and all kinds of weird things. But then I've also done other projects, right? I wrote my book about Kilimanjaro, which will be out next year anyway, when there's not a pandemic. Fingers crossed. And so I said to you, I was like, let's take a baseball game. Right? How many baseball games have been played in the last 100 years? Right? Oh, look, Nicoles, she got called into the kitchen. You just inspired someone.
I hope I helped.
So how many baseball games have been played? Like 65 trillion billion, right?
Minimum. Yep.
Minimum. And how many ways? So in every one of those games, either someone wins or loses, or there is a tie, right? Or no, there's no tie. It just goes on forever. I forgot.
They're talking about possibly this year, if the season comes off, just calling games after 7 or 9 innings. So it's possible you see ties this year.
So, but my point is that like, there's only so many things that will ever happen in a baseball game. Bunts, triple plays, rare, but double plays, no hitters, right? How do you, as a writer, like go at this game and pull the drama out of it, make it exciting? And I was like, dude, isn't there like, at some point, don't you just have templates? Like, 3 to 1, right? And then you just substitute in the names and the players.
Well, you've got the template, for what I do. A lot of my work during the season, when there's a season, is I write for wire services,
right?
Field level media and associated, mostly field level media, and do some chipping in the Associated Press. And their first leads, as we call them in the business, are always the who, what, when, where, and why. Don't get cute. Unless something crazy happened. Like I was fortunate enough, this is my friend Larry, to cover 2 no-hitters. Poor Larry's never seen a no-hitter. He's going to type in a second now. So, if you see a no-hitter or something crazy like that, that's your lead. And you get creative, like, Max Scherzer. That's my wife. Hi, honey.
My wife's here. Look, there's Jerry. He's in the back there.
I probably should be in the back. Yes. Like I know I covered Max Scherzer threw no-hitter for the Nationals in 2015, and it was the second one of the year. And he was only, I believe, the third one to do that. So around the 6th inning, I started looking the stuff up because he was mowing them down. that's what we do. We up like, okay,
it's like a Mad Lib, right?
Yeah. If it's the 9th inning and it's tied, you just start to fill in. Okay, so and so did, like he wrote, did in the 9th inning, blah blah. But for Scherzer, Gary's referring.
You're so easily rattled by these comments. This is like
you paying attention to me. Gary's referring to the 2002 baseball All-Star game, which they ran out of players. So they called it a tie.
Yeah.
But for Scherzer, I looked up, confirmed how many times in the season, how many times in baseball history, a player had thrown multiple no-hitters in that season. I think it was Johnny Vandermeer and Nolan Ryan. So my lead was move over Johnny Vandermeer and Nolan Ryan. Here comes Max Scherzer, because there's 2 no-hitters. Yeah. But usually, like I said, you talked about the template. For most of the times, it's okay. Jeff Belanger hit a 3-run double in the 8th inning, flipped the Boston Red Sox to a 4-3 victory. There's the bat. To a 4-3 victory of the New York Yankees Tuesday afternoon at Fenway Park. So you look like, is that like your Little League baseball photo there?
Mark Belanger. Remember cousin Mark from the Orioles?
Right. Great fielding shortstop. So, but like, no hitters are obviously very rare, but when those happen, you
every time.
But like I covered up when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2018, feels like 1,000 years ago now, in their game 3 win at Yankee Stadium, Brock Holt, utility man, hit for the cycle, and it was the single, double, triple homer, first cycle in baseball in postseason history, and he did it with a home run off a catcher, because the Yankees were losing like 19-3 or something. So you can tell when stuff like that is happening in a game. You just know unusual stuff is happening. So baseball has a way of even the especially nowadays, even the routine is spectacular, and you find joy in the mundane, but just for baseball, I mean, I've never seen a boring baseball game.
So that's okay. So talk to me as really a non-baseball fan, like. How did you fall in love with baseball? What is it about that, right? Because like, to me, I admit it. I've said it. I was like, it's a sport with no clock. You have infinite time to beat your opponent. Like, come on. Like, but I also can appreciate that there's a chess match there, that there's drama to it, that there's some athleticism and so on. What drew you to baseball where you're like, I love it because?
I mean, I watched it as a kid, with my dad.
Better answer than that.
I'm building up towards it until I get distracted. Okay. I was where we grew up in Connecticut, we had 3 baseball teams we could watch all the time. So it was just the game I was exposed to the most: Red Sox, Yankees-Mets.
Sure.
At that, so I was absorbed by it, and I just love, I love the long nature of it. I love that, it started in March or in April back in the day, and ended in October.
Yeah.
And I loved that back when we were, when we were younger, there were only 4 playoff teams. You had to be really, really good to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I just, it was a game I could play. There's something very universal about baseball. You can get the wiffle ball and bat, and take it out and hit around that. And is it baseball? No, but it's a pretty great approximation of it. And it was just a very, very tangible game. My daughter's coming in. Hi, Molly. It was a very, it was something very, you want to get in? Hi there. Say hi real quick. Hi, that's Molly.
Say hi, Internet.
Say hi, Internet. So, it's just, it started, I love the stats too. I loved reading the standings every morning. My dad would leave me the newspaper back when people read newspapers, and I'd read the standings, and I just loved to kind of do the math. Like Atlanta is 3.5 up on San Francisco, and write them down in my notebook, and just read the box scores: 5 at bats, 1 run, 4 hits, 3 RBIs. I just got into the numbers, and once you get into the numbers, it kind of connects you to the game, and I just loved it. I loved it from day one, and still do, as difficult as sometimes it can be. It's a game's not what it was when we were kids, so of course we prefer it that way, but I love the game, and I've always loved it.
Yeah, no, I know you do, and I know, like, even back at Hofstra, like you and a bunch of our circle of friends always did fantasy baseball. Yep. And to your credit, you invited me, but I'm like, like.
By the way, that league is still around.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I still don't want in.
Okay. Well, maybe when baseball comes back, we'll get you in.
No, I'm not. This isn't like some passive aggressive way to get invited. I don't want in. Like, No, but I get it. I mean, hey, no, I get it. Like, it's your thing, it's your passion, and it's the passion of millions of people. It's America's pastime. And back to your book, just in case you thought we forgot we weren't going to like plug this thing. So we have to put ourselves into the mindset. I was thinking about this. This was back in the year 2000. Yep. So this is the pre 9/11 world, right? Yep. This is when the Subway Series, New York City, like this was the biggest thing going before everything changed, before it all got eclipsed.
Yep.
Right. And so you've got, I mean, Derek Jeter, that's, I mean, even if you're not a baseball fan, you know who that is, you know, I mean, these household names. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that your book kind of puts it into a context of the time.
Yeah. And it's interesting. The last chapter of the book is 2001 and beyond. And, there's, in 2000, when the Yankees won the World Series at Shea Stadium, a couple fans, fans got onto the field and celebrated, before they got taken away. Could you imagine that a year later?
Yeah.
Was it 10 months later, 11 months later, everything changed. And 11 months later, the first game in New York City after 9/11 was September 21st, Braves versus Mets at Shea Stadium.
Right.
And there were nobody wanted to play that game. Bobby Valentine, the manager of the Mets, talked in the book. I don't want to play that game. Chipper Jones, the Hall of Fame third baseman for the Braves, said in a Sports Illustrated interview, "We didn't want to play that game. Nobody wanted to play that game. We're a sitting target. We're right outside LaGuardia Airport."
Yeah.
And so it's just, that 2000 World Series just feels like it happened so much further back than 11 months from the terrorist attacks. So I definitely, and like I said, the last chapter deals a lot with 9/11, the baseball in the aftermath of 9/11. That was the year the Yankees lost to the Diamondbacks in Game 7 of the World Series after coming back with last inning home runs in Games 4 and 5 at home. The whole world thought the Yankees are going to win the World Series the year New York got attacked, and then Arizona came back and won it. So, it's just, and it's hard to, nowadays when we go to sport games and concerts or whatever, like you were talking about early in the hour, whatever mass communal thing you like to participate in, it's not like it was in 2000. You're going through security. You're going through. You're getting patted down. And it's a part of life. The airport. Look at you fly a ton. Mm-hmm. It was like flying in 1999 as opposed to when you fly now.
Yeah, the world has changed and we've accepted it in so many little incremental ways. But that's how it goes, man. The only thing you can count on is change. Yep. And everything changes, and whatever it is that you love or whatever, like it's going to evolve, and you either evolve with it or you move on.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the things that we got to look at as we're trying to figure out what life is going to be like. We count on sports. We count on our entertainment to make us feel normal, right? We all, most of us, unless you're a professional athlete, which we are not, like you work all week and you want an escape. Yep. And for us, sports is so often that escape. We get to lose ourselves in the drama, and it's so much fun. So, okay, living in the Boston area, like, you're in the New York area. The one universal truth is like Red Sox fans hate Yankee fans.
Yep.
Right? Like Yankees suck. Like priests in Boston wear those to church, right? Like
right.
That's just, whatever. And this rivalry is so strong, but like you'd never, well, no, I can't speak for everyone, but like I'll see someone with like a Yankees hat in the grocery store, right? Mm-hmm. And you give them a dirty look because you do, mm-hmm. right? And then they give you a dirty look back, but then you both laugh,
right?
Right? Because like, I don't really hate you. Right. I'm not. You're in no danger. Right. It's just a thing. It's a little act we go through, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the beauty of it, that like we can have this rivalry where I can hate you for that reason,
right?
Which is so superficial that we both recognize the absurdity of it, and yet it's fun to like get that aggression out, even though like I mean you no harm, I really don't, and you don't mean me any harm. We can just like yell at each other over this, and then like go have a hot dog,
Yeah.
And there's something kind of beautiful in that. Like,
did you see what you said the Yankees, Red Sox? Did you see what Bob Kraft did in New York?
What, we brought down 300,000 masks?
Yeah.
So but wait. So okay, Yeah, that was all over the news up here. So Robert Kraft, when there's this shortage of the masks, the breathing masks,
Yep.
everybody's pulling strings, and Bob Kraft is a string pulling kind of guy. Gets
Sure.
his team plane outfitted so it can fly to China,
Yep.
land for 3 hours, pick up like 1.1 or 1.2 million of those masks, put them in the cargo hold,
And
fly him back to the U.S.
Yep.
And he lands, in Boston eventually, and he gives 300,000 of them to New York.
Yep.
But before you start getting all weepy and stuff, how did they get down there? In the Patriots 18-wheeler truck that's the six-time Super Bowl champion, right? With a police escort rolling into Manhattan. Just
by the way, we kick their ass every year.
I know.
8 straight years. That's what they're. By the way.
Yeah. But I love that it was like they could have delivered it in any 18-wheeler they wanted.
No.
But it had to go in the team truck, right? Like, I know you hate us, New York, and I get it. The Patriots are the New York Yankees of football.
They are.
Yeah.
And like, if you're our age, you can't. It blows your mind because they were so bad when we were kids. They were the laughingstock of sports.
Yeah, right. They were a mess.
Yeah, they earned it, and they've earned this.
And then things change. Things changed in a big way, and that's the thing, and that's what we love. We love the drama about sports. We love the distraction of it, and we need it. Let's face it. Like, I know, come on, yeah, we need our doctors and our farmers first. I agree with all that, but without the distractions, without the arts, without sports, I mean, these are the things that really make our lives worth living, make us feel whole. Those of us that played these sports as a kid, you understand, right? Like, so to hit a round object with another round object that's traveling at like 90 plus miles an hour.
Yep.
Really, really hard to do, because I remember doing it when it was traveling at like 30.
Right.
Right. In Little League. And so those of us and if you've ever played wiffle ball, like it's, I mean, you don't hit it every time, right? There's some skill to it.
Yep.
And then you extrapolate that and you watch the pros and you're like, whoa, that's really something. Unless, of course, you're a Lions fan, then things never change.
That's true. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Did you see the meme that went around? It said, instead of wearing those like N95 masks, just wear like a Lions helmet, because if you wear that, you won't catch anything.
Poor Lions. We're sorry.
Poor Lions. I know. We kid because we love.
That's right. That's right.
I'm in Detroit far too much to make fun of the Lions. So I've flown through that airport so many times.
You pay taxes there?
I have paid taxes in Michigan. That's actually the truth. Yeah, because that's how it goes. When you earn money in other states, you're supposed to pay for stuff there.
That's right.
And the rivalries makes these things so much fun. Even if I'm watching a sporting event like with two teams I'm not invested in, if I know there's like a passionate rivalry there, it's just more fun. Yeah. Right?
Someone's gonna be really happy and someone's gonna be really ticked off, and it means a lot to everybody involved, fans, players, everybody. And it's do you want us to mention the Tigers? We can mention the Tigers.
Go ahead. I don't know about how are the Tigers doing?
Not good. Not good.
They're doing as good as any other team right now.
True. They're tied for first place. So, but yeah, like you said, the rivalry games are fun, and in college basketball, Duke, North Carolina, Syracuse back when they were in the same league. You don't have to be a fan or alum of those schools to say, I'll watch that game and watch that arena jump up and down and people not social distancing and getting into it on both sides. And that's fun. That's fun. I just, but it's really, but when you're involved in it, like when you're watching a Patriots Jet game and they just, do what they do and score on the Jets in overtime to win, feels pretty good, right?
It feels great.
Yeah. And my wife is right. Hofstra's not lost a football game in a decade.
That's true.
That's true. That's true.
Sorry, Jennifer. We'll lay off the Detroit sports. Okay, so I do have a question about the book because, it occurred to me. So you probably, I'm guessing you wrote this in the last year and a half, 2 years?
I actually, you'll get a kick out of this as a publisher. You put together pitches, right? You put together proposals and you love it. And someone says, I like it, but this just doesn't fit. And you understand that's how it works.
Yeah.
I've had some proposals, fall by the wayside. This one came to me last June. The publisher called me and said, or a friend of mine called me and said, I've got a contact. Somebody's supposed to do this book and it fell through. They don't want to scrap the book. They need someone who can write a Subway Series book. This is in June of last year by November. And I said, well, there's about 3 things I can write about in 4 months. Subway Series 2000, because I covered the Mets back then. Something to do with Hofstra Sports, and who's going to want to read that except me and you and my wife. Right. And you just do it to be nice because you're not a big sports guy. And something to do with The Simpsons. So I said, what's the one thing I've got that could actually, I could write about in 4 months. So, I covered the Mets, like I said, back in 2000. And so I had a whole bunch of
just froze. Jerry just froze. Oh no. I wonder if he just kicked his internet cable out. I'm not sure, but hopefully we get him back. We'll find out. Poor Beach. He was just going to get into. Oh, he's back.
Hello.
You there?
Hello. Yeah. You there? Okay. So,
yeah, you're back.
It's still here. So, so they said, look, like I said, they had this project and they had a slot in the calendar and they really didn't want to lose it.
Yeah.
Can do this by mid-October, and I negotiate to November. But I had a lot of the notes and source materials. I saw newspaper clips from back then. I had a whole bunch of my old stuff on floppy disks. Remember those 3.5 disks? And my wife, thank you, Michelle, for buying me a floppy disk reader years ago. So I was able to salvage a bunch of stuff I did in real time. And then being down in New York, and I have I'm in the Baseball Writers Association of America, and the card gets you into any ballpark in the country. So I could go. So even when the Mets weren't playing, the Mets were away, I could go to Yankee Stadium and talk to Yankee broadcasters who played on on those teams, and the Yankees to play on those teams. And it was cool. The only trip I had to make outside the area, I went to Philadelphia for one game to see a coach. That's me and Benny Agbayani at Citi Field after his interview in, I think it was August. I talked to him in August, and I got really lucky last year. The Mets started doing a big alumni group. So every homestand, they'd have guys come in from the past. And a lot of the guys are from the 2000 team. And even those that weren't, I could ask them about, either being in the same city as the Yankees, back when the Yankees were really good, and the Mets weren't, or what was it like to play in the in-season? The Mets and the Yankees used to play in-season exhibitions before interleague play started. I'd ask some of the guys from the 70s and 60s about that. So I was able to do, a lot of work in a short amount of time. And I had a lot of access to people. So I told somebody, if I had to do a book on the 85 Celtics Lakers, I couldn't have done that in 4 months.
So here's the question, right? So you're talking to some of these players who played this game, well, at the time, 18 years ago, right? 19 years ago. Right. And I mean, how many games have they played since then? And it amazes me, their ability to go back to World Series, I get it. That's a little bit different than a spring training game where you really might forget the details. But at the same time, it's incredible. When you consider how focused these athletes are, how they zero in, how it burns into their permanent memory. Like you talked about in the very first chapter about how, what they use for their own bulletin board material, right? Right. An interview with another player saying oh yeah, no, we're going to beat him. Be like, oh,
yeah. And that was Benny, by the way, the guy in the picture of me who said that.
Yeah, right. So how dare you say that, right? Yeah. How dare you say you're going to win?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. It was funny. You talked about, how these guys remember this. Todd Zeile, the Mets first baseman, hit the ball in game 1 that hit off the top of the wall, missed a home run by about 2 feet. And the guy in first wasn't running hard. It got thrown out the plate by Derek Jeter. And so Todd Zeile says every time he comes to New York, he's asked about that play.
Yeah.
So some of it is in that series, they've been reminded of it for now it's 20 years, right. Their role in it and their roles in it. And I do wonder, does that make it the memories crisper for them? If you're being asked about every single day, if you're asked about the 1997 playoffs, you might not remember it very well. But to do the World Series, if you live in Todd Zeile is now a broadcaster with the Mets, he's in New York a lot. And he's asked about a lot. And so the memories are pretty well ingrained.
No, I get it. And I get that also too, for some of us, these were moments of our lives. There's Jerry on Twitter. These were you think about where you were when sporting events happened, where you were when your team won the World Series, when your team won the Super Bowl, the NBA, finals, whatever it was, whatever you're into, suddenly that becomes a moment of your life too. And it's this shared experience, right? Yeah. In this era of social distancing, one of the things I think we're all craving is some sort of shared experience. Yeah. And while all of us watching Tiger King is it's something yes,
Yeah.
we're talking about you, Carol Baskin.
That's right. That's right. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard enough to know what you're talking about.
Oh, Jerry, like treat yourself. Just sit down
well, you should watch it tonight
and enjoy the train wreck, right?
Right.
So I mean, like these are the shared experiences we can have right now. Is like sharing memes, watching Tiger King, watching Netflix shows, joining us in the speakeasy, whatever. Like these are the things we can do right now. We're craving that, like, oh my God, my mother's here. She never comes to these.
Hi, Mrs. Belanger. How are you?
Wow. Mom, look at you here and it's late for her. I mean, this is well past her bedtime. I'm not even joking.
We're not in any trouble yet, Mrs. Belanger. We promise you.
Yeah. We're being good.
We haven't hurt yet.
But I did want to share. You shared a photo with me, and I'm going to show it. Not because I think it's poignant, but because I don't understand it, and I would like an explanation.
Okay.
I get that's you. What the hell am I looking at? There's you in the back holding the recorder. I see that.
This is after the wild card game, the National League wild card game, the 1-game playoff between the Giants and the Mets in 2016. Great game. The Mets, Giants won 3-0 on a 3-run home run by a guy named Connor Gillespie, a little used third baseman in the 9th inning. And Madison Bumgarner threw a shutout for the Giants. So after the game, I went down to the Giants locker room because they're the winning team, and that's me. And I think it was an MLB Network screenshot trying to get some comments from Buster Posey, a catcher for the Giants. You can see there. You can see all the plastic covering the lockers so that they didn't get too damaged. And they had a good time that night. They had a much bigger party 11 months earlier when the Royals won the World Series in Game 5 at Citi Field. That was a party.
So you're like, hey, look, I'm on TV, but behind the guy getting interviewed.
Yeah. I didn't know it was on TV when it happened. I went home that night, and you talk about communal experiences, and it was a great game to watch. And I got home and I wanted to kind of relive it a little bit again. I wasn't tired, so I watched MLB Network. I'm like, oh, there I am. I took a picture of it and sent to my dad and my sister. So I had no idea it was on TV when it happened. But
it's funny, like we're talking about the World Series, the Subway Series. I mentioned Tiger King once, and everybody just lights up. She killed her husband, right? Like Baskin Robbins put on a sign. They're not related to Carol Baskin. We know what you did, Carol. You guys.
Tiger King the whole hour.
Oh God, I know. So I was joking with someone the other day because I'm doing these speakeasies about 3 times a week. Like I'm trying to bring in different guests. Friday nights, by the way, this Friday night, guys, if you want to join us for 7:00 for drinks, it is going to be a raging party. We've got a musical guest. We've got Aaron Ryder from the show Destination Truth is going to join us. Dave Schrader, my drinking buddy, is going to join us, and a musical guest, Slamabama. Oh, you don't know them, Jerry, but they're the best. Like,
okay. Are you going to play with them? You can play a little guitar.
So yeah, not tonight, but they were but it's going to be like a big old party Friday. So like 3 nights a week I've been doing these, and it's just been so much fun to do them, to connect with people, to make us all feel a little bit social, right? Yeah. Like it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. Now you had posted like, hey, what dumb luck me putting out a brand new book on during a pandemic, but I would submit to you that people are reading now more than ever.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. My wife pointed out I was the #1 seller in nonfiction sports history. I'm #1. Woo!
Yay!
Yeah. And a lot of people have, and you know how this goes. When you tell somebody you're writing a book, me too. When you tell somebody you're writing a book, they say, "Oh, great, I'll check that out." And then you get busy and books cost money, and I get it and I understand it, but that there does seem to be a real surge of people saying, "Hey, I picked it up on Kindle," or here's the screenshot of the Amazon order. And I was concerned. Thank you.
And Jerry's book happens to be available on Kindle and Nook and e-readers and all kinds of things. You can go buy it right this minute. I'm just saying.
I can call you up and read a chapter to you per night if you'd like to.
Jerry is not working right now, so quite frankly, if you little GoFundMe money or whatever, and he'll autograph it. He'll read it to you as you go to sleep.
Absolute autograph. If you buy a copy and you listen to Jeff, me and Jeffy tonight, in all seriousness, if you'd like to sign a copy, if this all sells down, reach out to me on Twitter. I'll be glad to set something up with you guys.
No, yeah, I've had someone mail me a book or two along the way and say, "Would you please sign it and mail it back?"
Awesome.
Which is it's really flattering until you're like, I made about 87 cents on the sale of this book, and it's going to cost me $4 to mail it back to you.
Don't write that part, though. Don't write that part.
No, I didn't write that in the inscription. I was just like, cool.
Well, all right. Here's $4.
Yeah, love you, mean it. It would have been cheaper for me to just mail you $3.
Right. Next time I'll do that. So yeah, people definitely seem to be reading more, and like you said, we got nothing but, hey, it's Joe Cross's sister.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
That's right.
That's Joe Cross's sister.
Yep. Hi, Kelly. So
boy, the worlds are colliding here tonight.
I know.
This is why I'm doing this.
That's right. It's awesome. Get everybody back. Get the gang back together.
Yeah, Jerry will take a Sharpie right to your Kindle, Gary Moore.
That's right.
We'll go right across the title page. It's fine.
I'll ruin your Kindle for you for a dollar Sharpie.
Yeah, and don't just sign your name. Put a big long inscription across the whole thing. To my good buddy, thanks for all the support. Yeah, hit it out of the park. Right. Your good friend. Yeah, you couldn't read a thing under that.
Here's my phone number. Yeah. Call me if you need me. But yeah, it's people. I was concerned because who's got all of our discretionary income got sucked up.
Yeah,
watching their dollars and cents. And if we ever get out of this, we're not going to go out to eat nearly as much, and we're not going to spend as much money willy nilly. It's like who can spare $16 to $20 for a book? But
yeah, but so you go to a movie and it's like $12 and it's over in 2 hours.
Yep.
A book, man, you might spend weeks with a book. You might read it again and again. And authors like Jerry, you can reach out to him on Twitter. He will write back to you.
That's right.
Right? You can reach out to him and you can say hey, I have a question, and he'll actually write back. That's the cool thing about social media, is that we are connected. And so these books, not only, you're supporting someone who I know, man, I've done it. I know how hard it is to come up to a blank word processor and start writing.
Yeah.
You got 75,000 words to go.
And I did that. I started that in September, and I had 6 weeks. It's okay, I'm not going to keep here we go. Hey, it's my first sports editor. Jerry DeSimus.
This is like a whole family reunion for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You're welcome. Yeah.
It's daunting. You look at that, okay, I typed a sentence. I've got 59,000 left to go.
I know. It's one of those things that it's so hard to do, and I respect anyone that even tries it.
Yep.
Right. When people write to me and they're looking for writing advice or whatever, just the fact that you come to the table and you try.
Yep.
It's not easy. Otherwise, everyone would do it.
Yep.
So the fact that you did it, it's published, it's out, it's your third book. It's not, I still have your first one upstairs. This one just came out, but no, I think books are such a worthwhile investment because they're so intimate. You don't have to recharge them. They can go to bed with you, right? They can keep you company on car rides or on quiet afternoons. You can lose yourself in them. I believe in books. You might get them on e-readers or whatever, but I do believe in the power of books and the power of messaging, and it's so important. It's just another way for us to connect in a time when we really, really, really need it. So
we need to connect.
There's that. Jerry, give me some parting words of wisdom, something that I can take with me all the way to tomorrow morning.
Can I say it in a Beavis and Butthead voice like in college?
Yeah, that makes sense.
How's it going? No. Something you said struck me. You're talking about writing books, and this isn't necessarily the word of wisdom, but it's just something interesting. Stephen King said, people ask me, who do I consider a writer? And he says, have you ever written something, gotten paid for it, and paid the heating bill with that? Yes.
Yeah.
Then you're a writer.
Yeah.
If that's Stephen King standards, then we're doing okay. Then we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. No, it's a good thing. And hey, books are your friends. I agree, Joey, completely. It's one of those things. But yeah. Hey, and who'd have thought back at Hofstra, we were writing for the school paper, writing for the campus humor magazine. Just write. And I was writing for my hometown newspaper. You're writing for your hometown newspaper.
You covered Woodstock, right? Woodstock 94?
Woodstock 94, yeah. So it's funny to me when someone's like, hey, I want to write a book. And I'm like, well, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you.
Right.
But they're like, so you did it. Do I just go do it? And I'm like, I've been writing since I was 18.
Yeah.
Right. For publication, I've been writing since I was 18.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah. So like, there's a little bit of lineage there, but at the same time, I'm not saying anyone can't start tomorrow. You can, but I'm just saying like, there's steps between the book and
Right.
where you are now.
It's between the idea and getting it done. And like
Yeah.
for me, I was fortunate. Like I said back then, I was covering that team back then. So like I wrote in the acknowledgments, the book came together in 5 months. It was really 19 years. Nonsense. It was really 19 years and 5 months because I'd started this in 2000. Really.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate to have a. Thank you, Steve. I was fortunate to have a bedrock there. And I guess you asked for parting words. I would say like you and I have been very fortunate. We found passions.
Yeah.
We love to write. We love to investigate different things. You love to investigate the paranormal. I'm a sports guy. If you can find that and get compensated for it, you don't have to be rich. God knows we're not.
No.
You feel like you don't work a day. You haven't worked a day in your life. And that's what I got from my parents. My mom was a teacher. My dad's a retired stockbroker. And they both loved what they did. And it was hard to kind of comprehend, as a kid coming up, and my mother and my father were never unhappy. You had tough days at work, but they're never like, ugh, it's Friday at 5 and I have 52 hours. I have to go back to the grind again.
Yeah.
You don't feel that way. So if you can find something you love, like to the woman and her daughter asking about sports writing, it's tough. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, but you love what you do. It's a passion. Every day's different. You talk about baseball games, they feel the same, but every day's different. Something crazy, random, fluky can happen any day.
Yep.
And that makes it really cool. And I hope they sports come back soon so I can do that.
And I totally agree with you. If you follow your passion, like just good things will come of it. And just to leave us with some words from another Long Island guy, Billy Joel, he did this spoken word thing at Hofstra. Do you remember? It was not
right after we graduated, right?
Yeah. So he goes on stage and he's got a piano, but he mainly talks to people.
Yep.
And someone asked him the question. And I've told this story a million times, but I'm going to tell it again because it's that good. Someone said, "Hey, do you think you could, you can have like a full-time job and do music on the side and still make it in music?" And he looked off into the distance and he thought about it. You could tell like he was really churning that one over. Mm-hmm. And he goes, "No." But he said, but, I need to eat. I need clothes. I need to pay rent. I need gas in my car. He said, I had to figure out a way to make this piano provide those things for me. And he worked every single night in a crappy little bar, learning which songs got him the biggest tips, got him booked again and again, which patrons would tip him big on certain songs and so on. And he learned all that. And then he wrote a song about the whole experience called Piano Man.
Worked out pretty well.
And it all kind of worked out.
Yep.
And I think that was a profound thing for me. Like, yeah, I mean, I love ghost stories and history and legends and weird stuff and monsters. You love sports, but I also love having clothes and heat and shelter and food, right? And a family. And so we have to figure out a way to make that happen. And we were doing fine. We were doing just fine.
Great.
Until, dang it, someone made a bat or something. And
here we are.
Man, not one of these bats either. It was something else. I don't know. And then next thing you know, everything changed. And we'll get back to it. We will, because we'll persevere. We'll figure out another way because that's what we do. And I'm inspired. So, Jerry, congratulations on the new book. Again, it's called, there it is, the Subway Series, Baseball's Big Apple Battles and the Yankees-Mets 2000 World Series, which is out right now. Just came out like a couple days ago. And you can get it on Amazon and hardcover and Kindle. If you want to read it right this minute, you can just go buy it. And, of course, you can follow Jerry on Twitter. I do.
Thank you. I've got a lot there. I apologize in advance.
It's, it's out of charity that I follow you on Twitter.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But anyway, thanks for coming here. It was good to catch up with you, man. Good to talk to you.
Awesome seeing you. Tell hello to Megan for me.
Yes, we'll do. And thank you, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. More shows coming this week. I'm still working on Wednesday night's guest. I'm vacillating between a couple of possibilities. And again, Friday night's a big party. And I'm just going to keep doing these.
A mustache come back on Wednesday? Hello there.
I don't know if I could grow one, Jerry. I'm
incognito. Hello there. I wrote
be Jerry again. We'll talk about football then.
That's right. Jerry Jeech.
Yes. So, yes. Anyway, your bartender appreciates tips if you can do it. Venmo, there it is. Jeff-Belanger-Legends. If you want to contribute to the cause. And I'll keep doing this because I really appreciate keeping you guys company and you guys keeping me company. The biggest compliment I've had over and over from doing these things is that it feels social. and it feels like we're hanging out, and that's the whole point. So thank you, Jerry. Thank you, everybody. And until next time, please, oh please, take it easy.